Good morning. I'm here. I made it. Let's let everything get up and going. Hopefully, I feel like I forgot something. I think the Rokfin launches itself. Yes, I'm kind of hulky today. We'll talk about that. And let's see if I get my chat working. Jilly, fashionably late. No, actually, you're early. Jilly, you are the best. The Marvin of mods, as we say. Ugh, I hate days. I do too, SF Thomas. I'm having one of those I hate days. Oh my gosh. I log into the studio and I go to throw my back screen up and the program just will not let me have a back screen. So what you're seeing right now is their auto back screen, and see how I kind of have this green hue. I can't really do anything about that. I've tried, but so Oz and I spent, I'm not even kidding, like 5 or 6 hours yesterday trying to figure out why, when I invite a guest into this studio, which is Restream Studios, that there's an echo that you guys hear and that the guest hears. I mean, today should be to Hell and Back Thursdays. And sadly, I can't bring Pasta in to do those shows until we figure this out. As you guys know, I've been through 5 different studio programs and I'm trying to figure out which one works best. Each one has a problem, like either a camera interaction or there's just each one has its own set of problems, and I'm trying to figure out which one I can accept with the least amount of problems. But you guys can hear me, right? I hope you guys can hear me. I mean, you're not screaming no audio, so I'm assuming if there was no audio, we'd get there. I have a huge deck for you guys. I don't know. I was just grabbing everything this morning. You guys can hear me though, right? Yeah. Reported the serpentine belt. Oh no. Yeah, replacing the serpentine belt is never any fun. I managed a mechanic shop. My brother's a mechanic and local one that's been in our town for many, 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 many years. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about, I mean, I already knew a lot about cars because I was a poor single mom. And when you're a poor single mom and your car breaks down, you either go out there and figure it out for yourself or you don't get your car fixed. So I've done some things in my day, let me tell you. I mean, I've even helped with replacing motors. So yeah, sounds good. Thanks, DC. Hey, Janice, welcome. It sounds fine. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, we're gonna get this show started. Yeah, it's been a day. Hey, you guys hit that like button and share this out. And I talked to Pasta last night. I know Pasta and Steve are rodeo clowns today. They're rodeo clowns every day. I talked to Pasta, gave me a call last night, and I promised him that even if I don't get this studio figured out next Thursday, we'll be it to hell and back regardless if I have to do StreamYards, because hey, now I know how to use every goddamn studio program out there. Chad Wilson in the house. Nice, Chad. What's up? Chad, I love your chats. Keep ranking on them. Keep calling them out because I hear you. I hear you. I see you. Yeah. Everybody thinks that some of these people out there, they just kiss their asses, and we know who and how they really are, right? Yeah, I know. And you're going to appreciate, you definitely appreciate the deck today. Let's see if I can bring some of this in. Let's see. There we go. Slide deck. Yay, I'm on the bottom today. This is Poe, my crow. If you didn't know, Poe the crow is hanging out crows, and the new thing. Well, it's not really a new thing, but it's kind of, how you just pick up things that you like, and I love crows. Anthony, how's it going? Yay. All the fams are in the house. I did watch Vanessa Beeley over on AM Wake Up this morning. They had a couple of great conversations over there. Pasta and Steve doing important work. Pasta and his calling out the China hating. I love it. Keep it up, Pasta. Yay. Keep going, because this is bullshit. We're fed a narrative. Uncle Warren stopping by this morning. Great interview the other day with Comrade Misty Putin. We all waited with bated breath to hear what Misty had to say about the mainstream media dropping some sort or putting out some support for Julian Assange. So thank you for having her on the show. It was very insightful. I featured it on yesterday's show. I don't know. Tuesday show. Yeah. It's been a morning. I'm so glad to see everybody hanging out. Yeah, I hope you had a good time over there, and keep up the good work, everybody out there. I mean, this community is slaying it. Even if you're not sitting here broadcasting, most of you guys are working behind the scenes, and I appreciate that so much. Oz, if you're out there, I appreciate you most of all. Yesterday, spending hours and hours trying to figure out my capture card and get one computer talking to the other computer, and ultimately we achieved nothing, but, but hey, we try, right? We keep trying. So, and everybody who stopped by our test stream yesterday for a few minutes, you could see me in my jammies with my hair sticking straight up. Yeah, I don't really care. I will go live out the ethernet with no makeup on, but it happens very rarely. Rob Juno, good morning. Looking awesome as usual. I am on my different camera. Thank you. So I did the camera shuffle these last 2 days because you guys know my other camera cannot keep up with me frame wise, right? If I move, it blurs out. But it has good color because it has a light. So that's the camera I was using. This is my old camera, and I'm on my old camera today. So I'm trying to make it look good. God, it's everything's a nightmare and a pain in the ass. And it's conspiracy against me is what it is. So let's get this deck started. Fair use. I'm just commentating. These are my opinions. Please go out there, do the research, and form your own opinion because we don't want a world full of fucking regurgitating dumbasses. And that's what's out there, right? So we are not those people. We know what the hell we're talking about. Buy me a coffee if you want to help me out, help the trailer park out. You can buymeacoffee.com/trailerpark, or you can help us in so many other ways. You can join our Patreon. Today's the first, which means it's Patreon paydays. And I want to thank all of our Patreons out there. You keep the lights on at Beauty and the Boomer. It's not very much. There's only 10 of you guys, but every cent that we get goes right back into B&B and all of these productions that we're doing. So thank you to our wonderful Patreons. And yeah, we just can't, we can't say it enough. We just appreciate you guys so much. Here, I want to put the Patreon shout out up there. These are our wonderful Patreons. Thank you so much, everybody who helps us out. And I get it. If you guys can't help or can't afford to help, believe me, I know, I get it. So we just appreciate those who can. And hey, you can help out in so many other ways. You can like, you can share, you can tweet, you can just be informed and conversate in the chat. That's the best way to do it, right? So today's the starting day. Oh my God, guys, on top of everything else I have to do, today I am starting my 62-mile challenge for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, of course, cancer research. And yeah, I know about the whole charity thing. But for me, this was motivating for me. And hey, it goes to helping kids with cancer. So I am going to walk out here. It's 29 degrees right now with snow on the ground where I'm at. But I'm still going to get out there and yeah, look for the videos, look for the pictures. I did a couple of warm-ups, this week, getting back into the mode of walking every day. So I will be out there walking every day and giving you guys updates. If you'd like to help me out, you can go over to Twitter. It's on my Twitter. I should pin it. I didn't pin it. And it's definitely on my Facebook because it's a Facebook campaign, which is just weird. You'd think they'd let you share it wherever. But anyways, so these are the ways to help us out. And of course, the Beauty and the Boomer PayPal. Okay, now we got through all the housekeeping. Let's get this party started. Oh my God, you guys, there's so much bullshit to talk about. So much. I'm going to get back to the chat, see how you guys are doing. How's Rokfin? I didn't even get a chance to shout out the Rokfin. Sorry, Rokfin. I love you, Rokfin. You guys are the best over at Rokfin. And Beauty of the Boomer, Roar Media, Brave New Future. We are growing on the Rokfin, and we are so happy. We've been on Rokfin for a long, long time. So it's awesome to start getting some viewership over there. We got Fred Edwards hanging out on the Rokfin. Hey, Fred, how's it going? You warm today? I know it's cold where you are. Lizzie, hi, Lizzie. I want to send you a Christmas card. I want to send you all a Christmas card. You guys need to DM me your addresses, just your mailing address. And don't worry, I'm not going to be giving them out to anybody. But if you want a very special Beauty and the Boomer Christmas card, let me know your address and I will get it out. I've already got quite a few addresses. I'm excited to start filling out cards and just a way for us to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and thank you guys for supporting us all year. So yeah, get those addresses to me. Lizzie, I definitely want yours. I want to thank you so much for my beautiful Free Assange sweatshirt. So I had to bring Whitney Reb right out of the bat. Look at that, extra bola. You were retweeting this. Means I'm following you guys and what you're doing. Whitney Webb, we all love her. Gee whiz, wouldn't it be great when the CIA gets to tell us directly what experimental whatever we have to inject in ourselves and our children in order to stay employed and travel? So the CIA may be the more useful than the CDC in the next epidemic. Oh, wow, we didn't see that authoritarianism coming, did we? Yeah. Yeah. Anthony, yes. Send me DM me your guys' address and I will definitely shoot you out a beautiful Beauty of the Boomer Christmas card. Oz did an amazing job on them. So let's see. Rokana, he doesn't think that it's very fair if we ban spouses from insider trading or stock trading, but we all know it's insider trading, right? If they're in Congress, it's insider trading. It's not stock trading, even if they're the spouses, but that's unfair. That's just unfair. How dare you? Unfair, right? These clowns. He turned out to be the biggest clown of all, right? And I just want to say Jimmy Dork was one of the very first to call that clown out. I mean, on air, right? Yeah, right. Okay, let's see. It's December 1st, guys. The holidays are here, but some people think that it's time to rethink Christmas. So, yeah, time to rethink Christmas as half the country is not Christian, says diversity group. They say many people feel left out and excluded from the celebrations while their own religions or spiritual festivals are ignored. So, maybe we should just get rid of all holidays. What do you think? Just like that way it'd be good for everybody. We shouldn't celebrate, anything that includes family or tradition or I mean, I don't celebrate Christmas for the whole Christ mass thing, right? A lot of us, most of us don't. With the world, most of us are atheists, it seems like nowadays, or agnostic. And yeah, holidays are pagan. We know that. We know the origin of these holidays. Exactly. That is such a great point. Opus Cosmic. Yes, they're pagan to begin with. So what the fuck are these guys talking about? We all know Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. And if you actually go and look at history, most of the Christmas story we've been sold is total absolute bullshit. All it is about a capitalistic holiday, right? Making money for all of those corporations that so yeah, I don't see them getting rid of it because it's one of their biggest pay offers. I look at Black Friday. I mean, look at how much money I haven't heard the numbers from this year's Black Friday, but I think most of us do it as a family thing. I mean, it's middle of winter, it's cold, the lights. That's what I love about it. I love yeah, totally about winter solstice. Thank you, Kate. You're absolutely right. Good morning, Kate. Yeah, it's not about the whole Christ mass to me. So, and we do dual holidays in my family because we celebrate Hanukkah too, because half the family is Jewish and half the family is Christian. So yeah, we do both, and my kids thought that was the best thing growing up, let me tell you. Let me tell you. They got so many presents. We kinda did the, smaller presents for Hanukkah and then, of course, the big ones on Christmas Day, but I think you can do whatever the hell you want, and most people do. I have friends that celebrate Christmas in July. I mean, they had a lot of bad stuff happen to them around Christmas time, and they come together, they put a tree up, they do the whole thing, but they do it in July. So to each their own. And I think these diversity groups need to fuck off. Oh, okay. Let's talk about the weather. I got so much on this deck. There's so much to talk about. But the weather, what is the weather in your neck of the woods, as Al Roker would say? Hey, I heard Al Roker was back in the hospital again. Like he was there a couple weeks ago and then he got out and then he's back. So I don't have an update for that. I just heard a rumor, my bird whispered in my ear, but yeah, that's the update. But the weather's really bad from coast to coast. The West Coast, we've been cold and snowy for 2 weeks now. We've got tornadoes. We've got mass snow on the East Coast. But let's check out these tornadoes that went through the South night before last.
No sound.
Okay, hold on. I got no sound. No sound, no sound. Why don't I have any sound?
There you go.
What do you mean?
What's that noise?
Either it was playing or it wasn't playing.
It's not.
Okay. Why don't I have sound? This is what I'm talking about with these damn studios. Nothing's changed. There's no reason that it shouldn't work. Everything's set the way it should be set. So why don't I have sound? I'm not muted down there. No, I'm not muted down there. And I'm up on high. Ugh, why don't I have sound? Well, this is going to be a short show if I don't figure out why I don't have sound, guys. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. I'll get there. Got to jump through a million hoops. Speakers, it's on the right one. Dang it. I just want to build my studio and then be able to log into it and have everything work and not have one thing be a problem. There's no reason this should even be a problem. This is why I'm so frustrated with these damn studios. Okay, we're going to try again. Let's see. Crank it up. Tell me if you got sound.
No.
Still no sound. Let's see. Oh. Tell me if you got sound. Still no sound. Yeah, I still don't have sound. What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? Okay, I'm just going to kill the media and bring it back in. See if that helps. Remove the source. Grab the source again. I definitely want sound, please. Sure. Okay, here we go. We're going to try again, guys.
Flashlights piercing the darkness as they desperately search for survivors. At least 2 injured there. In Alabama, just after 3:15 in the morning.
It's rapidly moving eastward. So Wetumpka, you need to be in your safe place. You got this storm approaching from the west.
An EF2 tornado, winds up to 120 miles per hour, touching down north of Montgomery, sending trees crashing into homes, ripping apart others, debris hanging from utility poles. This is what's left of a community center.
Tragically, that twister killing a mother and her 8-year-old son. A relative identifying them as Chiquita Broadnax and Cedarius Tell. The boy's father rushed to the hospital.
I think the tornado really just came very, very quickly in this case.
In Utah, Alabama, a different twister making a direct hit on this apartment complex.
Look at all this building material, just everywhere. Up there, a 4x8 piece of plywood impaled on that tree. This is where kids would normally be playing. But the walls and roof of those bedrooms blown out. Amazingly, no one here seriously hurt.
Kathleen Jones rode out the storm here with her 3 kids.
So it came through, you heard it, and what you and
My
your kids,
apartment just was shaking.
what'd you do with your kids at that point?
All I could do was just grab them up. And we all went into the closet and I just told them about it, cover their heads. And all I was just saying, look, God, please help her. That's it. All I could do was just call on Jesus.
Their home now condemned.
That is so. Can you imagine 3:00 in the morning? I mean, I've gone through a couple of tornadoes, and I can't imagine. I just can't. If it hit at 3:00 in the morning, you're asleep. I mean, you're hearing sirens, and you don't have time. You don't have time. That's very sad. But we've talked about this for years. It's just going to get worse. Extreme weather is getting, it's going to keep killing people. We know that. Did you see that plywood? That was crazy up in that tree. And that roof looked just like mine. Tin roof rusted. Mine's rusting in weird stripes like that. I don't know why. When I pull into my driveway, I'm like, why do I have a striped roof? Who the fuck do you think sent the tornado? That's a good question. Do you see that? You never know. We don't know. I feel like the more I learn, the more I don't fucking know anymore, right? I used to be able to just tell you guys that that's the weather, and now I don't know if that's the weather or if it was intentional. My brain has been broken by too many truths, and so I just take it all in now, and I don't know what to think. Right? Was it DC? Was it HARP? Who knows? Who knows? It just seems a little odd around this time of year. I mean, yeah, it's happened in the past, but it just seems like a weird time of year for it to be happening. But all it takes is warm air and cold air to collide, and that's what you get. So, but yeah, that's not the only crazy thing that's going on. Did you guys see what's going on in Hawaii? This is kind of biblical. Yeah, let's take a look at volcanoes and the lava flow. Oh. Yeah. That's crazy. And we've seen that for a long time, right? But this is the first time it's happened since the 80s. From what I understand, I haven't actually been there myself, but one of my exes was there and sent me a lot of pictures and told me about it. And yeah, they're used to living with the lava fields there, and sometimes it takes some houses. Yeah, volcanoes are slow though. I'm more concerned with when these volcanoes go off, and we have a couple more going off too, not just these. The particulates that they're putting into the atmosphere, right? We know in history that when particulates go in the atmosphere, it sets us into winter, basically. It blocks out the sun, right? And so we'll get blamed for that climate change wise, right? It's your fault. It's your fault. But it could just be, a lot of it naturally coming from these volcanoes. Yeah, my brain's broke, guys. What is it? At least Shanda's brain isn't as broke as Tom Hartman's brain has been broken. Kate, I know, I was a big Hartman fan. I was 2016. And we lost so many to COVID and Trump, right? If they didn't get Trump derangement syndrome, they got COVID derangement syndrome. And yeah, so it was like we were all running and they just kept peeling off along the way. And yeah, they're all gone now. Shelly, I got a couple of things from Shelly on the deck. Shelly always killing it over on the Twitters. So that was your weather and Earth report. Okay, let's get back into some politics. So let's talk about the railroad workers and the fucking authoritarian Biden regime. So Kashama Sawant says Biden and the Dems are selling out railroad workers, the Congressional Progressive Caucus, who failed on every issue of consequence for workers, whether 15 minimum wage or Medicare for all, don't seem to be able to muster up much backbone to stand up for a few days of paid sick leave for railroad workers. Absolutely, Shama. Don't forget the Shama when it's always the Dems. Always the Dems, right? We can't trust them to do anything they say they're going to do. They will not fight for anything they say they're going to fight for. We have known this for years. We got the fraud squad out there. They don't do shit. Every person that we rally behind, pick up and send up there, they just conform and sell out. And there's no other word for it. Oh, they're not selling out. No, they're selling us out. The people who worked our asses off to put them where they're at, who continually, knocked on doors and phone banked and did parties and, everything that we have done to get these damn people there. Now, I honestly can say I have not supported any of the squad because I saw them for the frauds that they were right out the fucking gate, and so much so that I can't even participate in regular politics anymore. I get invited to a lot of political stuff locally, Republican and Democrat, because I'm friends with both parties where I live. And I just laugh at both of them. Like, you guys don't get it. The system's so fucking broken. Yeah, right down to how we put them in office. And this is not going to fix anything, and nothing's going to get fixed, right? And the things that AOC is a paid actor. I'm beginning to think that all of these guys at some point have had a meeting with the CIA, right? The CIA, Jimmy Dore did an amazing report in 2017, and I can go back and find it because I've had to go back and find it before, where there was an article out there where the CIA was saying how they were going to infiltrate our elections and they were going to take over our elections. And that was right around the time that AOC popped up. And I've never forgotten that. And I've always thought she was CIA, CAA fucking setup. And then I went to the border and I learned about the School of the Americas. And yeah, all of these people are puppet heads, right? And even if they weren't puppet heads, you don't get to stay there unless you're going to be a puppet head for them. And it's just sick to think that these Democrats were going to actually do anything for railroad workers. They love to throw platitudes at you at election time, right? Oh, we need 15 minimum wage and, we need paid sick leave for everybody. And we need Medicare for all. But then when they get in there and it's time to actually fight for it and force the fucking vote, sorry, now's not the time to fight for that. Is that what Nina told us when we did our Medicare for all rally 2 years ago? Now's not the time. Nope, can't fight for that now. So I'm assuming now is not the time to be fighting for paid sick leave, even though we just survived a pandemic. They're telling us there's more endemic pandemics coming, but you don't need any goddamn sick leave. So yeah, I brought a little clip from Redacted, the other Redacted, not Lee Camp. That's another thing. I loved Lee Camp for so long. And I went to many of his shows and I have met him a couple times. And since he's been hanging out with Graham Elwood, he's not even in my purview anymore. I don't know. What about you guys? What do you guys think? So yeah, let's check this out. And who are these redacted guys? Somebody needs to give me the rundown on these guys because I really don't know. But I agree with what they're saying here. So let's listen.
So President Biden asked Congress to take this up, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi got right on it. Just moments ago, the House voted in favor of doing this. Here's the tweet from President Biden. I'm calling on Congress to pass legislation immediately to adopt the tentative agreement between railroad workers and operators. Let me be clear. He loves saying that. Let me be clear. So I wonder where John Pierre gets that from. A rail shutdown would devastate our economy. Without freight rail, many U.S. industries would shut down. As a proud pro-labor president, I'm reluctant to override the ratification procedures and views of those who voted against the agreement. But in this case, where the economic impact of a shutdown would hurt millions, I believe Congress must use its powers to adopt this deal. Oh. Pro-union president. I want to be the most pro-union president ever. Go ahead, Philip.
We need a word that describes when you're forced to go to work against your will. Like when you don't want to, like the conditions aren't right, you don't want to, and then you're forced to. We need a word for that kind of like when you have no choice but to go to work.
Yeah, I wonder if we could come up with
trying to think of. I'll write Webster's and see if they know anything.
Slavery?
Forced labor?
Slabbery? How about slabbery?
Yeah, it's fun. We call it out when it happens in other countries, but it's just the norm here. It's just disgusting. And, Bernie Sanders fucking sellout too. He should be screaming his head off. And yeah, he puts a few tweets out and he puts a few platitudes out. But is he really doing anything? Has he really done anything? No. And they won't. So Biden will do much like what Reagan did in the air traffic controller strike in the early 80s. He will just tell them this is what you're getting and you're going to go to work, and if you don't go back to work then you lose your fucking job. And yeah, there's a word for that and we know what that word is, and it's definitely more than forced labor. But if some other state did it, man, you better believe we'd be screaming our asses off. Profit sharing. Yeah, that's the thing. They're making record fucking profits right now. Record profits. Corporations have taken over the world. People told me back in the early 90s, oh, in the future, we're all going to belong to corporations. And I couldn't envision that. I couldn't then. Boy, I sure can now, right? Just what corporation are you going to sell your ass to? Because that's the choices that we're going to have here coming up very shortly. Oh, so yeah, let's talk about Hakeem Jeffries, because Pelosi is leaving, going quietly into the night. Yeah, I kind of doubt that, just like Hillary went quietly into the night. But a lot of people have a lot of things to say about it, and the Dems are sure happy, starting with Bill Clinton. So Hillary Clinton says she is thrilled to see Rep. Hakeem Jeffries take up the mantle to lead Democrats in the House, with Rep. Kay Clark and A. Aguilar Pete filling out our leadership team. The future of our party is bright. Congratulations to all. So let's look at those names again. Rep. Kay Kelly. Is that Aguilar Pete? Yeah, that's I don't know what the name is, but and then of course Hakeem Jeffries. This is scary, guys. This is scary. When Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are on Twitter fucking doing a happy dance and a victory lap, yeah, we're screwed. So Bill Clinton has to retweet his wife, of course, and say congratulations to Hakeem Jeffries and the entire Democratic leadership team. I know you'll all do an outstanding job representing our values and moving America forward. Because, yeah, they're representing our values and moving America forward. That's scary. When I see both the Clintons like retweeting each other and putting this out, that just tells me how screwed we are. We are so screwed with these guys. I mean, Pelosi was Pelosi. She was a dumbass. Some of these guys, they're a little bit more diabolical. I don't know. So I'm very concerned with it. So I brought us a little clip because, Hakeem, he had to go out there and kiss Pelosi's ass, of course. And she was the greatest ever. So let's hear about how Nancy's the GOAT.
It's an honor to stand before you today.
Democrats on Wednesday unanimously elected Hakeem Jeffries to serve as the party's top leader in the House of Representatives, replacing Nancy Pelosi to become the first Black American to hold such a high-ranking position in Congress. At a news conference, the 52-year-old New Yorker acknowledged his 82-year-old predecessor, who in 2007 was the first woman to be elected House Speaker.
I also want to convey my thanks to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, an extraordinary speaker for the ages, who has delivered so much for so many over such a significant period of time. Our caucus is better, our country is better, the world is better because of Speaker Nancy Pelosi's incredible leadership.
The world is a better place, guys, if you hadn't heard. So, yeah, that's one of your new leaders. That is your House leader, Hakeem Jeffries. And, I have one more tweet I had to bring about this because this is an excellent point. Yeah. Hakeem Jeffries is not a progressive. Hakeem Jeffries is not for Black people. Hakeem Jeffries serves one boss, and that is his corporate masters. If you think replacing Pelosi with Jeffries will bring you the progressive change that is needed in this nation, you're delusional or ignorant. So, yes, I have to 100% agree. Delusional or ignorant. Those are your choices. Oh, I brought in Jill Stein too. Let's see what Jill Stein had to say. So the squad is 2 for 2 today, selling out railroad workers and voting for a guy who supported the super PACs targeting progressives for speaker without a word or an objection, exceeding even the worst expectations of the non-believers like me. Yeah, I agree with that. I do. So yeah, we got a new speaker, new leader. Let's just see what bullshit comes of this, right? Same shit, different day. Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's bad for you. George Carlin, DC. Yes, thank you for bringing that. So the Royals are in town, not the ones that live here, but the actual Royals. And yeah, they're hanging out in Boston, and I thought I'd bring you guys just a little clip of a dedication they did yesterday, because hell, why not make fun of them too?
60 years ago, President John F. Kennedy's moonshot speech laid down a challenge to American innovation and ingenuity. We choose to go to the moon, he said, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. It was that moonshot speech that inspired me to launch the Earthshot Prize with the aim of doing the same for climate change as President Kennedy did for the space race. And where better to hold this year's award ceremony than in President Kennedy's hometown, in partnership with his daughter and the foundation that continues his legacy.
So yeah, when they come to town, there's never anything good that they're up to, right? Yeah. I'm on YouTube, so there's a lot of things that I can't say. Chad, I want to highlight your comment here. Hold on a second. Jill Stein is still raising money for her 2016 presidential campaign. Hundreds of thousands of dollars raised for what she has to pay back to the FEC. Wow, even what she raised over what she had to pay back. How much did she have to pay back to the FEC? I am not a huge Jill Stein supporter or fan, I will tell you. I was a huge Jill Stein supporter in 2016. As soon as Bernie bent the knee in August of 2016, I immediately pivoted and went to the Green Party and was like, okay, obviously the Democratic Party is fucked. And I applied to work for the Jill Stein campaign, and I was treated rather rudely, even after doing the whole process of turning in my applications and cover letters and all that shit, right? But still, I was on the ground supporting. I tried to organize a Green Party locally, which was a joke because the Democrats were actually in charge of the Green Party where I am. I'm not shitting you. And so that was kind of a bust. But anyways, I went out there and I just supported Jill on my own, right? And I don't believe the numbers that Jill got. I really don't, because I saw with my own eyes how many people pivoted from Bernie to Jill. But the actions that I've seen out of Jill, I've met Jill quite a few times. I was in the ground in 2016 with Jill. She was the only one during the DNC convention that actually came out and spoke to the 100,000 people that were on the ground. 150K, Chad. Hold on, let me get that. But since then, I just find her to be, I don't know. It's just my own opinion. I just find her to be an opportunist almost. Like she only pops up on the issues that she thinks will get her recognition, is kind of how I feel. And that is my personal opinion. I'm not saying anybody ever said that. That's just how I feel. And that always lets off warning bells in my head when I see that. Let's see. Chad's going off here. Let's just play it out. So Jill campaigned to her state party to keep GP candidates off the primary ballot. Well, that's shitty. We're fighting for everybody to have access, and she has been denied access to so much shit, and then she does this. Yeah, that's my problem with the Greens, Anthony, is that they are too freaking cliquey. The Greens turned me down as a candidate for Congress, didn't have anybody running that race. Stupid people. Right. I know. They're just like, oh, if you don't fit in our little cookie cutter box and our little clique, then no, the Green Party could have exploded in 2016 had they had their shit together and had they been a big tent inclusive like Democrats claim to be. I agree. So, okay. Well, I don't know how we got on the Jill Stein rant, but we went there. I appreciate you, Chad. And I appreciate when you do call her out. And a lot of our peeps don't like it. A lot of them like Jill. Jill was just at the Julian Assange rally at the Department of Justice. She was the opening speaker. So I understand, that her voice carries a lot of power, and that's why so many of the organizers do appreciate when she comes out. But I also feel like she could do so much more. I guess that's the way it is. Jill Stein was arrested in the name of democracy. She absolutely was, a couple times. And the things that have been done to her are fucking horrific. Like, when they threw her out of the DNC, they locked her. When I was in Philly in 2016, they locked her in a room for like 8 hours just to keep her out of the damn way. I mean, yeah, she's had some terrible shit done to her. But I just feel like the Greens could be so much more if they would just try and be inclusive, and they so are not. Okay, so moving on. Let's actually get to this attack. So Mars mission may be all female to avoid astronauts having sex for a 1.5-year journey. Yeah, because that's how we deal with that. Of course, this is old. This is from 2017, but still, I thought it was hilarious. Hasn't came to fruition yet, but you never know. Fraud squad. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. Total fraud squad. Did you guys see this? Who's killing crypto billionaires? Chili sent me this. This is crazy. And let me get over to where I have the notes I have on this. Notes. There we go. Oh, of course it's tiny. Of course it's tiny. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you guys. CIA and Mossad and pedo elite are running some kind of sex trafficking, entrapment, blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands. Mussinger a developer of blockchain-based decentralized finance platform who wanted to end global banking corruption, tweeted at 4:57 a.m. They are going to frame me with a laptop planted in my ex-girlfriend's who was a spy. They will torture me to death. The 29-year-old then left his $6 million beach house in his Lux condo area, or condado area of San Juan, Puerto Rico, for a walk a little after 9 a.m. A surfer off of Asford Beach spotted considerably so rifes with riptides. I'm thinking we're talking about riptides. A local hotel. Okay, so it's a local hotel. Discovered his body in the waves. He was wearing all of his clothes. He had his wallet on him, sources say. Yeah, so that was just one of them. Another one's helicopter crashed into a mountain unexpectedly. Another one just dropped dead in his sleep, even though he was young and healthy. And yeah, there's some questions. I mean, we've seen things like this happen before. Like, remember all the natural paths, all the natural doctors that just started dropping off around 2013? And a lot of people think that they were being silenced for something they were trying to put out there. May it be that there was an actual cure for cancer, or if they were just calling out vaccines, or if they were calling out, big pharma's corruption. Didn't matter. They seem to have got silenced. And with what we saw with the crypto the last couple of weeks, it makes you wonder. My conspiracy. I'm just saying, my conspiracy, and Tyler Durden's too, because Oh, did you see this guy? This guy just won't go away. This is when you're driven by fucking ego. Check this out.
One of the letters I got, I want to read to you, Sam, because it's from a gentleman who said that he lost his life savings. And the subject line is, Sam Bankman-Fried stole $2 million from me. Can you ask him why his hedge fund was leveraging long all of these S-coins? I'm going to keep it polite for the kids. Please ask him if he thinks what happened was fraud. These are the kinds of letters that I've been getting repeatedly over the past several days. What do you tell this man?
Yeah. I mean, I'm deeply sorry about what happened. There's going to be a time and a place for me to sort of think about myself and my own future, but I don't think this is it. Like, right now, I mean, look, I've had a bad month. This has not been a fun month for me, but
on behalf of everybody here and on behalf of the public, I want to thank you for engaging in it at a time, in truth, when I know you've been advised not to. So thank you so very, very much. Thank you. Sam Bankman-Fried, everybody.
And I don't know why you're clapping.
Do you guys see that smile on that guy's face? Yeah. Do you want to talk CIA freaking puppet? That's one right there, right? I mean, we've all said it. There's so many of them, but you cannot convince me that this kid is not got strings pulling him down the way. And he doesn't seem very worried, right? Is that satire? No, that's not satire. That was not satire. He actually said that, and then he smiled about it. Speaking of total hypocrisy, where am I at? We got a lot of hypocrisy going on today. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're going into that story first. Okay. You guys saw this, right? Oh, God. I can't even remember this guy's name. It'll come back to me in a second. Let me take that off of there. How do I get that off there? Hide message. There we go. So when you get caught stealing luggage, but still want to treat yourself, you guys, that's bad. That's really bad. I'm not making fun, but let's just hear about Biden's non-binary woke energy czar, Sam Brighton, caught stealing luxury luggage at an airport. Now, I know you guys saw this because it happened yesterday, but what the actual F?
But we thought Sam Brighton might be an exception. Sam, an MIT grad and an expert, quote unquote, in nuclear energy, started back in June as a deputy assistant secretary in the Department of Energy. But we quickly discovered that Sam, who goes by the they-them pronouns, might not be the right person for the job. According to a report, there were substantial irregularities during Sam's hiring process, and Sam's gender identity may have taken precedence over actual qualifications. Perhaps the Biden administration chose this former nominee for other reasons. Maybe they were impressed by Sam's lectures on kink, or their interest in pup play, whatever that is. Either way, it looks like Sam's not only unqualified, he might also be a criminal.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Biden's non-binary drag queen nuclear energy czar, who was just charged with stealing a woman's $2,000 plus luggage at an airport. Now, if you guys didn't know, Biden hired this very strange individual, Mr. or Mrs. I'm not sure exactly what their pronoun is.
They.
But it's Sam.
Okay. So they were at an airport in Minneapolis the other day, and they saw a very nice name brand bag and decided they was going to grab it. And they have camera of they pulling the tags off of it. So the tags to your tag saying it's your bag. Apparently they have them on camera ripping the tags off. But my question is, if you are the energy czar of nuclear energy, what the hell do you got to, why would you be ripping off bags? Why wouldn't you just buy bags? And you can't tell me that this guy inside of Biden's freaking cabinet doesn't have some back channels to make enough money to buy himself stuff. He has to be ripping it off. I am so confused. And my other thing is I don't have a problem. Be what you want to be. Call yourself what you want to say. Call yourself. But if I'm not allowed to dress in my best party gear to go to work, why the hell should you be? I've been a woman my whole entire life. And if I show up to work in a tube top and a fucking mini with 6-inch stilettos, I'm probably going to get fired, or I'm definitely going to be working in a strip club. So it's confusing to me. How is this professionalism? There's no professionalism if you're at work like that. To me, it's confusing. At least he wasn't stealing nuclear secrets. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. You can't hear, Chanda? Oh, good. Good. Damn. I've never been allowed to. I'm one of those people. I've been sent home many times from school and from work for either being dressed inappropriately or everybody just like gives you that cold stare and hates on you. So you learn to just kind of dress to fit in, right? I don't know, to each their own, but don't be stealing other people's shit. And that pisses me off. Last time I flew, I got my bag back and I had a really nice custom tag that was pink and it had my address and stuff. It matched my luggage. It matched all of my bags. And somebody fucking ripped that off there for no reason. It just pissed me off. Why rip that off there? And it was on the last leg of the trip. So it happened in Seattle. That's what pisses me off too. Correct. Oh, do you guys see the Tim Pool Kanye shit? We have to talk about it. It sucks, but let's talk about it. And I'm just going to say it, like I keep saying, it just makes me feel bad for Kanye. Kanye seems to understand a lot of what's going on truly behind the scenes, and especially experiencing that as a Black man who's made so much money and thought he had so much power, right? But he can't come out and say these truths in the realities that he's trying to say them out without having his own throat slit. And really that's what is happening. And he's absolutely batshit crazy to think that he's going to have a successful run for president when we saw Trump not even be able to have one, right? So Tim Pool had to jump in on this. But first, I want to show you guys Tim Pool and his sister fighting on Twitter. Did you see this crap? So let me see. Here we go. So Tim Pool, it seems that around 10 p.m., Club Q posted they were having an all-age drag show. The next day, about 2 hours later, the shooter came in. People keep calling for wood chippers, and this is what happens. So this was the tweet that he put out, and it was immediately responded to by his sister, Lisa Pool, saying at Timcast, you really think LGBTQ people are grooming children? What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you not remember working at Mom's Coffee House in Boytown in Chicago when we were teenagers? The community had some of the most wonderful people we've ever met. Yeah, because inflating, I don't know, working at a coffee house to what's going on makes any sense, or even what he said made any sense. But yeah, family spat over on Timcast. But then Tim at the same time had Kanye on, and Kanye walked off after like 20 minutes. I mean, they barely got into it. I don't know if you guys have watched it. It's out there. You guys know I think Tim Pool is CIA. I do. It's just like, okay, everybody's CIA. I'm gonna make a shirt that says everybody's CIA. But I've wondered in this space where we are and following each other for years, right? I followed so many of these podcasters, is what they originally called themselves. And especially Tim, from where they started to where he's at now, doesn't make sense money wise to me. Like, he had to be infused somewhere, is the way I feel about it. Now, Luke Wadowski hangs out over there. I appreciate Luke. I appreciate, the reports that Luke does, and we are change. But I still have questions. And that doesn't mean that, that Luke wouldn't fall for it. I'm sure that, it's his friend. And I see a lot of friends that hang out in that little circle, but I just have questions. Yeah. Shelly says Tim Pool is irritating, arrogant twat waffle. I'm amused anyone's big as Kanye. I'm someone as big as Kanye walked off his show. Yeah, Kanye right now, I think he'll just take any platform he can get to get his voice out there, because he's been so attacked and he's been so knocked down so many pegs because of where he was at and what he, even Trump's pissed at him, right? Because he brought these extremists, and that's what I'm going to call him. He brought some extremists with him when he went to have dinner with Trump and when he stopped by Timcast. So I brought a little clip. Let's listen to it, and yeah, we'll talk about it. Let's see here. There we go.
What do you mean it's not? What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about, are you leaving?
Are you afraid of the press?
He's gone.
Tim Pool hosting notorious anti-Semites and racists like Kanye West and Nick Fuentes wasn't the win that he was hoping it would be. Kanye walked out of the show after Tim Pool barely pushed back kind of on some of his anti-Semitism. But he also spent some time sucking up to his hateful dweebs, and I want to give you some examples of that. So why don't we take a look at the first video?
Before the show, obviously, I'm getting a bunch of messages from people. People are hitting me up and they're like, you shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic, they're white supremacists, they're racist. I do find the idea, I do find it funny or weird or whatever that, Nick, they call you a white supremacist. You're here working with or for, one of the most powerful black men, one of the wealthiest and most famous. But a lot of people were saying on the right, specifically, don't platform them. And I said, well, I want to understand what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. They're they're involved in what may be the biggest news story of the past week, and we have an opportunity to sit down and talk.
Because the red media controls both sides. It just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump. Ron Emanuel was next to Obama.
So I just wanted to play that first to give you a sense of what Tim Pool's pushback, what his challenging questions sound like. Challenging comments at Nick, I mean, I can't believe people call you racist. I mean, you're advising Kanye West. I mean, would a racist do that? Good job, a laundering reputation of a well-known anti-Semite and racist. Good job. You did a great job there. Fantastic.
We showed you clips. I can't do it justice, but I mean, among the things he's no picture by black blacks can't hold themselves, they're inferior. He's not there's no code words. He's just a flat out, outright racist white supremacist. It's not within about what does Tim Pool do? He said, well, I mean, you're working with a black man who also thinks wears White Lives Matter shirts, says so, like, is an infinitely stupid man who's mentally ill, pushing.
Okay, I know, guys. I'm so sorry to make you that sick this early in the fucking morning, but I hate them just as much as anything else. Oh my God, Anna is just stupid. Okay, first of all, if you've watched the interview, it was only 20 minutes long. Kanye, if you know Kanye, Kanye is a branch thinker. And when I say a branch thinker, that one branch leads to another branch, which leads to another branch, and he branches off, but then he tries to get back to his original point. He is a classic narcissist who loves to hear the sound of his own voice. But Tim asked him, Tim's interviewing him, asked him a question. Kanye gets started, and then Tim rudely interrupts him multiple fucking times, right? And then Luke jumps in and he tries to steer the conversation a little bit. Great job by Luke. And Tim had a raw, nasty energy in that interview. Like, I've got Kanye West, that anti-Semitic piece of shit, and he's got these guys, and I'm just gonna tear him down while I got him here. And Kanye was reading that. I mean, Kanye is not a stupid man. You don't make as much money as if you're stupid. He felt it. And you know what? He was just like, fuck this shit. If I sit here any longer, more is going to go out there for everybody to turn against me. And he got up and walked away. It was probably the smartest thing he could do. The smartest thing he could have done is not go on the damn show. And for Jake and Anna to just fucking dogpile on just goes to show that, how they are such sellouts, right? Ooh, this is something good to talk about. And you're right. Was it Natalie? Yes, I saw that Luke Wadowski would not address it on his show on YouTube. He is making you go over to Luke Uncensored to get his take on it. Now, I didn't go over yet. I did, watch I always watch We Are Change just to see what he's saying. And I don't agree with everything that Luke says or does. I mean, definitely didn't agree with him when he was all Trump, 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 right? And that's a huge problem I have with a lot of these guys. It's like, fuck, you can't see the trees through the forest because you don't see it right in front of your face that these guys are just as bad as everybody else that you're calling out. And I mean, Kanye has mental illness. Does he need to be locked up? I don't think so. Was it the same day that his divorce with Kim K got granted and he was ordered to pay $200,000 a fucking month child support? That is insanity. Like, that bitch needs that money. Can you tell me she needs that money? With all the money that her and her family has, she has to go and take money, $200,000 a fucking month away from this guy. I mean, yeah, he should be paying something, paying for the kids' schooling, but that's about it, paying for their health care. He should not be handing Kim Kardashian $200K a fucking month because she has all those kids. It's sickening. And what it does is it sets the precedence for the rest of men all the way down the pyramid, right? Kanye's up here and he's got to pay that while everybody down the road's got to pay for it too. Kanye's crazy and Kanye says some terrible shit and Kanye's done some terrible shit, but I just see a sick man who's in the public eye who is just being picked apart by vultures for virtue signaling. And I feel like he knows some truths, right? He knows who's attacked him, the people who've attacked him. And that's what he's saying, but you're not allowed to make that observation. You're not allowed to say Hollywood's full of Jews, right? Because that's what he said. You're not allowed to say that out loud. It could be true. It could be true all day long, but you're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to say it. And I've had this personally happen to me on a show a couple of years ago where somebody attacked me for going after the Rothschilds. How dare you talking about international bankers because they're Jewish? Like, what does them being Jewish have to fucking do with it? They control international banking. What if they were Catholics? It would be the same to me. That is neither here nor there for me. They control international banking, and I was called an anti-Semitic. So, it's funny. I said, I'm Jewish, so I'm anti-Semitic. Guess what? I get to die with those people if you guys come for everybody, right? And, I was attacked over and over for it. And sadly, there's just some conversations we can't have anymore. We're not allowed to make plain face observations. And I felt like that's what Kanye was trying to do. And the more he tries to articulate what he was trying to do, the more he F's it up. The deeper he gets in, right? The more he steps in it, as they would say. So it's a hard topic to talk about unless you're just going to pull the mainstream tow rope, right? So I'm against bigotry and religious extremism. I'm against hiding behind religion to excuse bad behavior. Yes, Chad, that's exactly what it is. You're hiding behind religion to excuse bad behavior? Can we just call out the bad behavior that's happening out there? And that's what we see, right? Yeah. But no, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. So I had to bring one more Jink Uger tweet to finish out this section. So Jink says, we all Kanye West, we all. That's not okay. That's what he said. We all Kanye West is hateful and a complete idiot. Not like you are, but what's not talked about enough is what a bitch he is. He's so soft. Tim Pool said, I think they're being extremely unfair to you because he didn't say the Jews in the sentence. Kanye walked out. Weakest man in America. Yeah, okay. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. That's a little extreme. Weakest man in America. I think somebody's just jealous of the money that he has. So, oh, the segment's not over. I brought a Rising clip. You guys want me to skip it or do you want to watch it? I think this is Brianna Joy Gray. Let's check out what she has to say. But then I have some crap I want to talk on Rising.
And movement before he got kind of ousted from the party over pedophilia kind of allegations, or that he said something that seemed to be pro
not
pedophilia.
allegations,
Not that he did it,
participated,
right?
but that making light of it,
like making exactly,
which is very funny given that that's now like the number one issue of people on the right is
exactly. So it's weird to see
rumors.
these two back. Obviously, Donald Trump got in a lot of heat for sitting down with both of them. He said he didn't know who Nick Fuentes was and disavowed it and said it was just because of Kanye. But in this interview, we get a little context for how that meeting even came to be. Apparently, Milo and Fuentes reached out to Alex Jones, who then asked Kanye if he could give them their contact information. And Kanye seems to be weirdly like a ship in the sea buoyed about by these kind of grifter type personalities. Not to say that it absolves him of ultimately sitting down with these people and not vetting them, but it does seem like just a weird, almost accidental dynamic set up here by people who are trying to exploit Kanye's potentially mental breakdown or whatever else is happening.
Right. So.
Yes, that's exactly how I would put it. Bree got it right on that. But can I tell you, I saw yesterday, I was scrolling through YouTube and I saw a post, you do community posts, and it was from Rising from Rising. And it said, thank you for voting us #1 podcast. On YouTube or some shit. And I had to go in there. And of course, there was a ton of people. Oh, I love you. I love you. I quit watching TYT and now I watch exclusively you. I used to watch MSNBC, but now I love you. And I typed in, yeah, it's kind of easy when you're in the corporate algorithm. Just saying. And that's the truth of the matter. I know that there's a lot of our brothers and sisters out there that would blow the fucking doors off of Rising if they were allowed to rise to the top on their own merits, right? We're not allowed to because we have the boot stepping on our head. We've had the boot stepping on our head since the day we got to YouTube because of who we were affiliated with. The people that came in, they automatically knew that. And it was so funny to watch in real time. Like they knew that who and what we were, and they made sure that we did not rise, and they still do. I watch them every day pill 10 of our followers off of our YouTube, just like 10 just gone every day, and then we'll get a few more, and then they'll just take 10 more away. And you can't tell me that 10 or 20 people every day are going to their YouTube and unfollowing our channel. I mean, when was the last time that you went and unfollowed a channel that you hadn't watched? I mean, that's the craziest part to me. So yeah. Rising YouTube algorithm. I guess Oz is wearing off on me. Aren't you proud of me, Oz? I brought a Rising clip. So, okay, one more on this Tim Pool, and then we're out of here because I had to bring you guys Kyle Kalinski's take on it because why not? These guys, come on. Let me see if I can get it up here. Let's go. Okay, so Kanye can't handle the slightest pushback from Tim Pool over his Jewish conspiracy obsession, but he thinks he can run the most powerful country on earth. Oh my God, the slightest pushback. It wasn't the slightest pushback. I think Kanye had those guys with him, and it's like Bree said. I don't think he freaking fully understood the magnitude of who those people are. I mean, you might get told somebody does this or does that, but you don't know their whole history. You don't know everything they've tweeted out and all the things that are going to come skeletons are going to come chasing you from their closet. And I think it's more about Kanye's lonely right now. You know, God, he's going through this terrible divorce. He's had so many things taken away from him. Then you got the whole Balenciaga bullshit with their pedo gate, I think is what they're calling it. And it's not a gate, it's the real fucking deal. And they got caught out on it. And, you know, that was a lot of money he lost with him. And then to have Kim Kardashian not distance herself from Balenciaga for this, like, tells you everything you need to know about the fucking Kardashians. So, oh, more sellouts, guys, more sellouts. Did you see Justin Trudeau supporting the uprising in China? I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. I know most of you seen it, but for those of you who haven't, the hypocrisy knows no bounds. And yes, the same guy who crushed the trucker protest, took money straight out of the banks from them, is cheering on China because how dare them have a zero COVID policy.
Canada stands with the people who are expressing themselves, further outlining and how Canada was in fact watching the demonstrations unfold in China very, very closely.
Canada, as you know, has a very, very large Chinese-Canadian community, and we have had long, long ties across the Pacific to China and other countries, and it means we're watching very, very closely. Obviously, it's really important that citizens be able to make themselves heard, that they're protesting, yes, on a specific issue that touches on so many others of government control, of authoritarian states.
Now, demonstrations have in fact erupted in at least 8 major cities across China. Some of them even started calling for Chinese President Xi Jinping to in fact step down. Now, Justin Trudeau interestingly has said that Russia's invasion of Ukraine showed us to how the authoritarian regimes are not reliable trade partners, and that the future supply chain should in fact run through countries like Canada that are extremely concerned about carbon emissions and human rights.
We know hypocrisy knows no bounds with these assholes. And yeah, it's not shocking at all. Of course, they want to villainize China. You know, we know that. I heard that Biden put pressure on him to do this, and he had no choice but to do it because the US wanted him to do it. So, yeah, he's such a fucking hypocrisy. The hypocrisy, oh my God. You can't protest here. Don't protest here. We'll crush you. You know, you'll lose your jobs. We'll take your money. We'll take your livelihood. But hey, protest over there. Yay, you guys are doing good. Protest. Yeah. We live in such a cartoon nightmare. Speaking of cartoon nightmare, this little segment, I want to do a little segment on fentanyl. I always, even if I'm not doing it to Pell and back on Thursdays, I try to bring you guys at least one you know, kind of related segment. And I caught this story. So this is San Francisco. I'm just going to play the report and then we'll talk about it. So this is a local news report.
A 10-month-old baby's exposure to fentanyl is raising concerns about the safety of Moscone Park along Chestnut Street in San Francisco's Marina District. In a post to Nextdoor Tuesday, Ivan M. says, "Our baby went to the ER today and barely survived because he found and ingested fentanyl while playing at Moscone Park." He says the baby typically plays in the grass and credits his nanny and the fire department's quick response and use of Narcan in saving his child's life.
It's so scary and frightening because this is, you know, every weekend there's always kids here. There's bouncy house parties for kids, and everyone brings their dogs here. And it's supposed to be, you know, a safe part of the city where you don't think something like that might happen.
The park is filled with kids and dogs and those that are responsible for them, and news of the fentanyl exposure is definitely raising concerns.
We circulate this park all the time, almost daily, and so I do know that there's certain risks about being like in a larger city like San Francisco and exposure to things like that. I do think it's gotten worse through COVID.
Wednesday afternoon, authorities confirmed the child had been exposed to fentanyl, but could not confirm much more than that. Police say they still don't know how the child made contact with fentanyl. They say they searched the park after the incident but found no evidence of drugs or paraphernalia. But those who frequent the park say it's not unusual to see people doing drugs here, and now steps will be taken to stop that.
The police department is going to increase their foot patrols and the visibility in the area.
Cracks me up.
24/7. Rec Park is going to continue to do the cleaning that they do in the area and make sure the park is closed, which they do routinely. And those are the immediate steps that are being taken.
I'm going to guess she was a Democrat. Okay, so I got some questions. This is San Francisco. Obviously, it is a upper class neighborhood because they interviewed a nanny and they said the baby, the 10-month-old baby, was with the nanny. So, if you got a nanny, you're paying. And okay, so fentanyl, the 10-month-old baby got fentanyl in the park and ingested it, is what they're saying. Ingested. That's how they said it, right? Because if you listen to TYT a couple of months ago, Anna, you cannot absorb fentanyl through your skin at all. At all. That is the mainstream report from the left, is that fentanyl is not being absorbed through the skin, that's a Republican talking point, and they're just trying to, make it salatialize it, make it bigger than it was. So they say they don't know how this baby got it. So there's only one of two ways this baby got it. It's 10-month-old baby. I've had lots of babies, grandchildren. You don't take a 10-month-old baby. They're not walking yet. Most of them don't walk till 1 year old. I mean, if you got a 10-month-old and they're already walking, I highly doubt you're just letting them loose in the grass. So this baby was probably laid on a blanket in the grass. So I have so many questions by this report. Always question everything, right? But, so that's just part of the demonizing of fentanyl. But how did the EMTs know that the baby was fentanyl overdosed? I mean, fentanyl overdose, you just drop, you might foam at the mouth, but you foam at the mouth when you seize or you have a lot of issues. Put it in the baby bottle. That could be a question, right? Or that could be, I'm thinking maybe the nanny was a user. And maybe the nanny had it on her hand and transferred it to the baby while she was at the park. Might as well do a little hit while I'm away from the house. I mean, that's just me. The way you absorb fentanyl through the skin is either liquid or patches accidentally get stuck into you, and nearly impossible to get the patch prescribed now. Yes, you're absolutely right, because Shelley, they learned how to cut the patch and dissolve it, and then you could inject it. Yeah. So I have so many questions about this because I don't want fentanyl users to be demonized. Absolutely not. That's the last thing I want, because so many of my friends and family are at that point. And that's where everybody who started out, that I know, everybody that I know who started out on prescription drugs and then had those prescriptions pulled from them by, whatever reasons, the DEA decided, no, there's too many in your area, or you got flagged because, your dose you were taking more than your dose. There's so many different reasons. And I don't want to see these people demonized, because it's a huge portion of our fucking population right now, people. We cannot be demonizing these people. We need to be figuring out how to help them, how to get them treatment, how to get them off of the streets so they're not in parks doing this. And so, yeah, I brought another clip to back this up. And, we're going to do this first. I got this from Shelley. Shelley, thank you for posting this, because I think it's so important. Couple dies by suicide after DEA shuts down the office of their chronic pain doctor in a fentanyl panic. Authorities have struggled to combat drug abuse while protecting pain patients who need opiates to manage their conditions. Now, I have done a lot of shows on opiates, and I've done shows on fentanyl, I've done shows on all of these things, right? And I never want to demonize those who have legitimate pain, because I am one of those people. That's why I went to the doctor. It wasn't because I was looking to get high. That was the furthest thing from what I was looking for. I was a single mom working fucking almost 100 hours a week to try to make my bills. And I have a broken body. I had a broken knee. I had a bad back. I mean, there was so many different things. And it wasn't my decision. It was my doctor's decision to hand me those prescriptions, right? So I didn't choose it. And I don't think anybody out there has chose this. And then especially if you're somebody who's dealing with like a life debilitating, illness, cancer, or, some kind of spinal injury. There's so many things. There's so many things that people need pain relief for, right? And we had a compassionate view there for a couple of years, for a good 15 years, when they were passing these drugs out, that to leave somebody in pain is inhumane. It's not compassionate. And I still feel that way. And all of these people who are now on fentanyl, they're in pain, and we're not being compassionate. And so I never want to demonize those who absolutely need medicine. We've got to find treatment. We've got to find paths to help people. But I don't think that giving everybody big pharma is the answer, right? So for those who, I'm talking about the fentanyl users, right? They go in, they're addicted to fentanyl, and they just want to put them on Suboxone or Narcan or one of these things. I've seen great results with it. I mean, it's helped many of my own family members. But God, I hate seeing big pharma get rewarded for fucking unleashing an epidemic on us, and making even billions and billions of dollars more on it. It's just so frustrating. And I don't know what the answers are. And I don't think anybody really does, right? Not in this corrupt corporate, big pharma world that we live in. So 4 years and no opiates. Oh, congrats. I congrats, man. It's fucking hard. I know it's hard. And I'm so thankful that I found Kratom when I did, and it saved my life. And I wouldn't be sitting here at this moment, even with the courage to open my mouth or feel like I had the worth to have an opinion, let alone to be sitting here telling you guys my opinion. So that's what Kratom has done for me. Just the confidence to come out here. This is a treat, guys. I brought you guys such a fucking treat. So did you know that News Nation paired up two of the worst, stupidest, dumb shits in the world, and now they have their own show, and it is Chris Como and Bill O'Reilly. Yeah. So I brought a little clip, and here they are debating fentanyl, and I'm just gonna let you watch it just for the entertainment value. They're not saying anything that I didn't just say or that anybody isn't saying, but it's just funny. So let's watch.
First of all, educators are underpraised in this country. I was a high school teacher. I don't know if Cuomo knew that or not, and that's why my grammar is better than his. But when you have a 10-year-old with a gun, then that comes under the age of reason. 7 is considered the age of reason, but you know that kid is screwed up, but that kid can take a life. So it is not a black and white issue. The issue is that society and our government has a mandate to protect American people from harm, and it is not doing that.
Appreciate you, Denise. Look, as all things, it gets complex, right? Where did the kid get the gun? How was the gun secured? Why did the kid have the gun? And what did the parents
do with that? But he was a kid.
Yeah, I understand.
You don't put him in jail for life.
No.
But let me ask you another question. I know we got a lot of...
That's because he's not evil. That's why.
We don't know if he's evil or not. There are
7
evil
years
kids.
old.
But let me ask you a question before we get to all of the flood of calls. So, fentanyl dealer on the street sells fentanyl to your kid. Kid dies. Okay? Fentanyl dealer is an addict. All right? Fentanyl dealer is an addict. We supposed to feel sorry for him because he has a disease when your kid's...
Yes.
You absolutely can feel sorry for him because he has a disease, and he could have committed a crime, and he may have committed the crime because he's got a dark heart and didn't care if my kid died.
All right.
I just don't want to blanket everybody. Look, I know it's easy for people to take a little bit of what I say out of context and use it to kind of rally around a cause. But I think that when you ignore subtleties, obviously good and evil are bright line distinctions until you start to get into the facts. A dealer who sends fentanyl, right now, they're prosecuting everybody who touches fentanyl as if they intended to kill somebody else. Is that going to make fentanyl go away? I don't know. Next call.
They're not doing that in New York. They're not doing that in New York. Although, as you well know, there was a guy caught with 22,000. Wait a minute. Your audience needs to know this. You just said they're prosecuting everybody with fentanyl. In New York, 2.5 weeks ago, a guy's caught by the NYPD with 22,000 fentanyl pills. Okay? He's out in 2 hours, and he'll never show up for his hearing.
But he's being
a cartel
prosecuted.
member.
He's being prosecuted.
No, prosecuted what? He's out. He's not coming back.
He's out on bail. You don't know whether he's
Are
coming
you
back.
little Bo Peep?
Oh, here we go. You know, you called me that like 25 years ago, by the way.
So it's just the only reason I was watching that for the factor that O'Reilly just constantly calls Chris name. I can't wait for him to call him Fredo one of these days. But of course I agree with Chris about we can't demonize these people. And we learn nothing during the crack epidemic that was unleashed on us by our own government, that these 3 strikes you're out, stringer freaking sentences. They don't do anything, but they feed the prison industrial complex, right? And that's what we're doing with fentanyl. We just move from one thing to another. We went from crack to meth to opiates, and now we're here. That's just what they do. That's the circle of life when it comes to the DEA pushing their drug narrative to help pipeline prisons. So yeah, but how fucking stupid. Who's actually watching that? News Nation. What a bunch of garbage. Like, it's like the worst lineup of people who couldn't make it at the mainstream or that were there once and they haven't been there for years. Like, we had Marnie Hughes. She was a local news commentator. I noticed she landed over there too, but yeah, this channel's just garbage. Let's talk about Portland and homelessness, because I got a little bit of an update for what's going on there. We heard a couple of weeks ago that Mayor Ted Wheeler had a 5-point plan, right? He was just going to shove the people out. They voted to make tents illegal on the sidewalk, right? And they're going to start sweeping them. So I brought a couple of clips. One, I think both of them are from a town hall that happened on Monday. So let's check it out.
Last night, something remarkable and unusual happened. Dozens of business owners from the Central East Side gathered in the evening to let Portland's mayor, Ted Wheeler, know how they feel about crime and homelessness and neglect from the city. Spoiler alert, they're not happy. As I mentioned earlier, we don't often get to hear from them, so tonight we're going to spend some extra time on all this. Let's begin with their frustrations. Here are 2 comments from Kyle Ranson. He's the CEO of the company Showers Pass, which makes popular coats for cyclists and others.
We're on Southeast 6th. There was a massive camp right down there underneath 99. It was horrible for 6 months. The city finally came in, or the camp came in, swept it. What did they do? They swept it round the corner in front of our building. We now can't even get a delivery into our building. I actually had another instance where this was happening. We were pleading with the city to come and clean it up because I had investors from Asia coming to look to make a multi-million-dollar investment in a new brand that we're launching, Vault, which is e-bikes. The individual arrived from Taiwan and said, yes, we want to invest in your business. We are not investing it in this location, because the building was surrounded by homeless camps.
Can you imagine what that was like? Yes, I know our homeless population needs help, and we'll get to that in a bit. But put yourselves in the shoes of a business person trying to make a living in Portland, trying to help their employees make money, and serve the public by making good products. Imagine doing all of that in a place surrounded by homeless camps. Here's another CEO. This is Marcy Landolfo from Rains PDX. That's a clothing company. She's explaining she recently closed one of her stores for good after 15 break-ins. She wants to know if the city can use federal law enforcement to clear out the criminals.
Is that an option? If we can clean out the crime, then we can hopefully focus better on our citizens that need and want the help to get off the streets, that need and want the drug treatments, and separate that out from the outright criminals that have come here to exploit our city, exploit our resources, and mostly exploit the good nature of all of us, because now we're all sick of it. So just wondering if it's an option to just address and clean out the crime on a very public, outward, and visible level, to send, to just send that note. We're not going to tolerate it.
Well, Mayor Ted Wheeler did not answer directly.
Okay, so basically what that lady was saying is, Well, I'm a good dim, and I'm just sick of it though. So can we bring the feds in and clean these fuckers out? And I don't mean like the drug addict. I just mean the criminals, like just the criminals. Obviously, she doesn't understand that the crime is happening because the people need money to survive because they're living on the streets and most of them are addicted. This is just stupid. I feel for the guy who, yeah, I'm sure he had investors come and they probably saw it, but hey, you got investors coming from China. You probably could afford to move your business. Just my thought. So, anyways, this was the response from Wheeler, and this is what has been passed. So, this is the plan. And I brought you a little clip.
The topic of homelessness, today the Portland City Council decided to move forward with the initial funding for Mayor Wheeler's plan to handle the homeless crisis citywide. The vote today earmarks $27 million for the 5-part plan that includes building 6 large city-sanctioned homeless camps. Residents will have access to food and substance abuse treatment, and the camps will have security patrols. The mayor's plan also phases in a ban on unsanctioned camping over 18 months. The money approved today is expected to come in part from the American Rescue Plan and Multnomah County's Joint Office of Homeless Services.
This is not a perfect solution, but it is a solution responsive to the reality that we face. 5-year wait lists for affordable housing, rampant rates of severe mental health and substance abuse, and a lack of availability for treatment, as well as a progressively dangerous and unsanitary set of conditions within unsanctioned camps across our city. The city just simply cannot wait for a perfect solution.
So basically, sorry, my phone's ringing. So basically, what they're going to do is they're just going to build a big encampment and push them all into the encampment. We're not talking housing either. We're just talking a compound that will have armed guards walking around it because, yeah, that's everybody wants to go live in an Orwellian nightmare camp with armed guards, and you can bring your tent, but you got to follow the rules. I mean, a lot of these people don't go to the shelters because they don't want to live under those type of oppressions. And so I just see $27 million that's just going to go right. And it's going to line the pockets. We've seen this time and time and time again. We just throw money and money and money at the homeless situation, and it just gets co-opted, corrupted, and it never trickles down. It never gets to the bottom. Very rarely does it help. And I think that as we go forward, we're going to see a lot of police authoritarianism more than we already have in Portland. And I mean, against the homeless population there, because they're saying they're just going to take their tents and push them. So, just like ants, you just move them to your neighbor's house. You never really get rid of them. Hey, I just want to welcome John Kemp. You were sent over this way. Well, welcome to, we don't call ourselves a YouTube page because we are a community, and you're always welcome here. We just talk truths and our opinions, and that's what it is. It's our opinions, and I'm pretty eclectic when it comes to the stuff that I watch. So you never know what's going to show up. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what's next. Let's figure it out. Oh, Dabu 7. I got a Dabu 7 for you guys. Yeah, shortages. We're starting to see shortages of medicine across the board. Over-the-counter medicines, especially children's medicines. Now, remember, I've been bringing these reports to you about how amoxicillin, children's amoxicillin, that bubblegum tasting stuff for earaches, is on very short demand, especially in other countries, but now it's starting to roll into America, which nothing worse than a screaming baby with an earache if you can't get the medicine. So let's check this out.
This is Dabu 7. I wanted to shed some light here on an issue that we're having here across the country, where they're saying there is a very serious shortage of many different drugs here. Amoxicillin, Augmentin, Tamiflu, albuterol, Tylenol. All of these erupting across the United States here recently. We also have some other alarming numbers. There was a record set in October for the number of parents that had to take off work to take care of sick children. And they're saying that this issue is exploding across the country. It's what they're trying to call a triple-demic. When you're talking about COVID, the flu, and RSV, and there's all kinds of arguments here when it comes to that. But right now, they're saying there's simply not enough medication to go around. One doctor says, been doing this decades, has never heard of a Tylenol shortage here in the United States, along with other medications. But for those of you that may run into this issue, sick kids or things of that nature, you might want to prepare, because they're saying that this stuff is disappearing. That we have not even got to the heart of flu season yet. Winter's still a month away officially, and that this is the situation. So I just wanted to put the heads up out there and let folks know that if you can get your hands on some of these medicines, do so. I also know people that are in the medical field that are talking about how cancers and all these other things have exploded. I wonder why. Just here in the past year or so. So a heads up here, again, for folks out there that may face this situation. If you can get your hands on some of these medications, I would do so quickly.
So yeah, we've been talking about that for a while, and yeah, I'm not going to go buy 10,000, bottles of Tylenol or children's Tylenol. I mean, I do keep it on hand for my grandkids if they're here and they're sick, because what else do you give them when they have a fever? But it's just a sign of what's coming, and we all know it. We all know it, right? And then to hear that everything's on the rise. Well, we called that. Pasta and I called that onto hell and back. Like the instances of everything, because nobody was going to the doctor. Not to mention what's in the secret sauce, right? I mean, there's so many things, so many ways that we're getting sick, and then the flu wasn't around, right? We didn't clock the flu for 2 years, right? So nobody even talked about the flu. And we stayed away from each other because we were all social distancing. We, as a species, interact and mingle with germs. That's what we've done since the moment we've been conceived. And that's why we have immune systems. And that's why our immune systems can fight off viruses. So then when we don't go around each other and then we start to come back around each other, we pick up viruses from each other. And I have noticed a lot of people are sick. I just had to do a rundown to a family member the other day with a bag full of natural medicines and some local some over the counter stuff, because they were terribly sick with what I'm thinking is just a regular, sickness that we get in the fall. We all, I've always got sicknesses. I mean, I might get sick once a year, maybe once 18 months, but I still get it, right? And because so many of us haven't been sick in a couple of years because we've been so, isolated, I'm really worried that truly this winter is going to be rough for a lot of people, just because of all of the compounding factors, whether it's the secret sauce, whether it's the fact that you haven't came into contact with germs in 2 years, there's so many factors. And then they got the new flu shot out there. So, don't, as YouTube would say, don't forget to get your vaccine. They're safe and effective, as we all know, right? DC coming in with the super chat. Let me see. Let me get it up on the screen. There we go. Super chat. Wish I had more to give, but thank you for giving me something to look forward to every week, and for this amazing little community enclave of sanity. No, thank you guys. And thank you, DC. DC, you're great. You keep me cracked up, and you kind of help me out a lot of times with my text. So thank you so much. And yeah, we are a little community. I'm not looking for clicks. We've been monetized. I could make you guys watch commercial and make 2 cents, but what the fuck is the point? So I can feed the corporate algorithm. Yeah, no, we are a community, and we're not just in this YouTube space. You can find us on Rokfin, at Roar Media, and of course Rumble. And yeah, we're just trying to get to the people that want to just talk about truth. That's and laugh about it. Of course, that's always awesome. And Mai's gold, especially with Beauty and the Boomer. We like a good laugh. I mean, what else can you do with what we're living through is laugh. But my shows are a little bit little not as funny as B&B. And let me tell you, Oz has been working on some stuff for B&B. B&B is going to be great. Okay, one last story, guys, and this is a follow-up to a story that we've been following, and of course, that is the Danny Masterson case. Danny Masterson, it was a mistrial, so let's check it out.
The judge in actor Danny Masterson's rape trial declared a hung jury
Oh, it's a hung
today
jury, that's
after
right.
jurors said they could not reach a verdict. Masterson, the former star of that 70s show, was charged with 3 counts of forcible rape relating to incidents involving 3 women from 2001 to 2003. The jurors told the judge they were divided on each charge. 2 jurors were excused Monday after testing positive for COVID-19 and replaced with alternates. Jurors started deliberations again, but were unable to reach a unanimous verdict.
Okay, so what happens now is I believe there was 5 or 6 charges. And so the count, and I was explaining to you guys the count, the prosecutor will decide if they're going to re-prosecute this case based on the jury count. So did they convince the jury except for maybe 1 or 2 jurors, or did they not convince the jury and they probably should just give up because they obviously didn't have enough. Now, it was really weird across the board, and there's been a lot of speculation that Scientology got to this jury, which would not shock me in the least bit. If you know anything about Scientology and how fucking crooked these guys are, hell yeah, they probably got to the jury, in my opinion. And the jury count was like, it was high numbers. There was only like 1 of them where the prosecutor probably would reconsider trying that one. And this is these victims. It was a long time ago. A lot of this happened, some of it 15, 20 years ago, it seems like. And you had a lot of influence from Scientology for these women to not have reported it, I think, is how the defense team managed to really tear this down. Cameras were not in this trial. Of course, this trial was across the hall from Harvey Weinstein's, which I should get you guys an update on. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we've known for a long time in the back channels that Danny Masterson was a complete creep. And can I tell you, my last boss, my former boss, he's a Scientologist, and he has huge pictures of Danny Masterson and him hanging out at some Scientology party. He's got all these Scientologists all over his office. And I've always been, even since the 80s, I've been interested in who these guys were, and the cult type power that they had. And the truth's really coming out about Scientology nowadays. So, well, we'll keep tuning in and go check out Growing Up Scientologists if you want to keep updated on this stuff, because Aaron Levine, he does an amazing job. He's a former Scientologist, grew up in Scientology. He breaks it all down for you. And there's so many. Mike Rainier, he's out there. Scientology's coming for him, though, from what we hear. What else do we got? Oh, I've got a Comrade Misty Putin request. And anytime Comrade Misty Putin asks us to do something, I'm there for her. I got her back. She says, we're winning, but we need more pressure. Let's do a phone drive again. Let's bomb the DOJ. Be relentless. Share like crazy. Hashtag free Assange now. So, yeah, phone frenzy. Leave messages demanding his charges be dropped. And here is the numbers. Somebody wants to drop them in the chat, that'd be great. Or you guys can screenshot. I always screenshot everything. So the DOJ declined to comment when I asked if they were considering dropping the charges against Julian Assange in light of major news orgs and the Australian PM calling for his release. Albanese. So yeah, let's do this, guys. It doesn't take much to call and pray. It's not even pranking to me. I'm just harassing, whatever. I'll go stand out front of the DOJ and have many times. So I definitely don't have a problem calling these guys. So let's call. Definitely call out there. I'm going to keep sharing this for the next couple of days. So you'll see it on the future shows. Tweet it out yourself. Go over to Comrade Misty Putin's Twitter feed and yeah, retweet this. Put the hashtag free Assange now in there. Let's drum up as much support as we can. And that's what it's really about, right? And it's Christmas time, guys. And as much as I want to bring Assange home by Christmas, I'm realistic that that's not going to happen. So let's get some Christmas cards and some Christmas postcards off to him. Just let him know that, we're out here. We're fighting for him with all the truths he gave us. We're going to fight for him. So let's get him some Christmas love, guys. And I think that's it for our show today. Oh my gosh, that was a show. That was a heck of a deck, man. There was some kind of tricky stuff on there that's hard to talk about without pissing one side or pissing some people off. And I try to do it tactfully, guys, and just give you my opinion on it. Not saying that my opinion is right. And you know what? My opinion is forever evolving and changing. The things I am saying now were nothing compared to what I was saying 8 years ago, 10 years ago, right? We're all growing, we're all evolving, right? And so forgive me if I step out of line. Sometimes I don't mean to. Well, we got the tech figured out for this show. I'm going to be back next Thursday with pasta for it to hell and back. Watch for it. It is going to happen. I think we'll only be on YouTube's for maybe the first, 20 minutes or something. And then we'll be heading over to the Rokfins and the Rumbles because the things we like to talk about on To Hell and Back are not allowed on YouTube because, the truth doesn't live on YouTube. It lives on Rokfin and these other platforms. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate you. I think I missed a super chat. I want to make sure I get that. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Get back here. I know it was from Jilly. There it is. Give some love. Super chat. Thank you, Jilly. Love our kindred spirit fams. Me too. Me too. And you know what? I feel for everybody out there who's struggling right now. I know it's December and I appreciate you guys sending me the little bit you can. Buy me a coffee. It helps. And, we've been talking about this, mutual aid, right? Because so many of our friends in our little fam, they need support and they need help. And it's not just those of us that do shows. So somewhere in the background, we're going to start working maybe some way of, you guys tell me, do we start a mutual aid GoFundMe where we help people? I don't know. I just would like to do more with the platform that we are building with the community that we have to help those among us that need help. So you guys help me out. You guys brainstorm it for me. Let's see. Beauty and the Boomer Saturday night. Oz has got some amazing stuff in the works. And I think one of them's already up on Rokfin. I'm not going to spoil it. I want him to be able to tell you guys about his work. So take a peek on the Rokfin. You might see something new over there that's going to premiere on Saturday is all I'm going to say if I give it away. And, we're in what do we call it, winter nights, so we're gonna do probably Christmassy like holiday theme, probably till Christmas. So check it out. There's lots of funny refaces and crazy little videos and dance offs and sing offs, and we got all kinds of stuff planned. So join us for that. And I think Amber's doing a Brave New Future on Friday, so tomorrow night. Let me check the Fen over here. How you guys doing on the Fen? Hey, Bad Andy, welcome. Sobe's hanging out over there. Ronnie Graham. Hi, Ronnie. Thank you for joining me. Opus, Lizzie, you guys are so great on the Rokfin. Oh, we got tech support hanging out. I always need tech support. Thank you so much. And of course, Roar Media. Oz, I see you. I see you over there. I hope I didn't give your secret away. And Rude Mully. Okay. I like that. That's cool. Welcome. I love seeing all the new faces in here. So yeah, come hang out. And, I think that's it, guys. I'm going to do my 2 miles for my 62 in the month of December and then go shopping. Ugh, I hate going grocery shopping, but it has to be done. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Stay warm out there. Stay sane. Don't fall for the crap. We know the truth. So I will see you Saturday.
Seals the contract. From the contract, there's no turning back. The turning point of a career in Korea, being sincere. The holiday was fun packed. The contract still intact. The grabbing hands, rabble they can, all for themselves after all. The grabbing hands, rabble they can, all for themselves after all. It's a competitive world. Everything can evidence.